So, a typical recovery Dharma meeting will start with an acknowledgement that this land was never ceded, and we'll introduce ourselves and introduce our pronouns if we need to. Usually say what lands we're on, in Australia anyway. And then it will start with an introduction, a popcorn style introduction where we just go around and people say who they are and where they're calling from, just so we can get to know you. And then there will be three short readings. The first one is the practice. Renunciation. We commit to the intention of abstinence from addictive substances. For process addictions, we also identify and commit to wise boundaries around our harmful behaviors. Meditation. We commit to the intention of developing a daily meditation practice. Meetings. In early recovery, we attend a recovery meeting as often as we can. We become an active part of the community, offering our own experiences and service wherever possible. The path. We commit to deepening our understanding of the Four Noble Truths and practicing the Eightfold Paths in our daily lives. Inquiry and investigation. We explore the Four Noble Truths as they relate to our addictive behavior through writing and sharing in-depth, detailed inquiries. Sangha, wise friends, and mentors. We cultivate healthy relationships within a recovery community to both support our own recovery and support the other recovery and the recovery of others. And when I say that, there's a WhatsApp group that you can reach 24/7. There's outreach calls. There are people that will strategize with you, and we will accept you, warts and all. Growth. We undertake a lifelong journey of growth and awakening. The Four Noble Truths was the next reading. As people who have struggled with addiction, we're already intimately familiar with the truth of suffering. Even if we've never even heard of the Buddha, at some level we already know the foundation of his teachings, which we call the Dharma, that in this life there is suffering. The Buddha also taught the way to free ourselves from this suffering. The heart of these teachings is the Four Noble Truths. And the corresponding commitments, which are the foundation of our program. 1. There is suffering. We commit to understanding the truth of suffering. 2. There is a cause of suffering. We commit to understanding that craving leads to suffering. Aversion also leads to suffering. 3. There is an end to suffering. We commit to understanding and experiencing that less craving leads to less suffering. 4. There's a path that leads to the end of suffering. We can commit to cultivating the path. And the path is the Eightfold Path. The Buddha taught that by living ethically, practicing meditation, and developing wisdom and compassion, we can end the suffering that is created by resisting, running from, and misunderstanding reality. We have found that these practices and principles can end the suffering of addiction. The Eightfold Path helps us find our way in recovery and consists of the following. 1. Wise understanding. 2. Wise intention. 3. Wise speech. 4. Wise action. 5. Wise livelihood. 6. Wise effort. 7. Wise mindfulness. And 8. Wise concentration. After that, we'll do a meditation, and that can go from about 10 to 15 minutes. It can be, even if you're bad at meditation, it's just watching your thoughts and not acting on them. People think they need to have a clear mind and that they're bad at meditation. That's not how it works. You just watch your thoughts. Rest as awareness. Then there will be a sharing portion of the meeting, and it's very accepting. Usually everybody gets a share, depending on the size of the meeting, especially in Australia. The small meetings, it's in its infancy here, although it's big in the United States. At the end of the meeting, when we finish the sharing portion, and they usually go for an hour to an hour and a half, we do what's called a dedication of merit. And the dedication of merit goes like this. Refuge does not arise in a particular place, but in the space within the goodness of our hearts. When this space is imbued with wisdom, respect, and love, we call it Sangha. We hope that the pain of addiction, trauma, and feeling apart actually leads us back towards the heart. and that we might understand compassion, wisdom, and change ever more deeply. As we have learned from practice, great pain does not erase goodness, but in fact informs it. May we make the best use of our practice and whatever freedom arises from our efforts here today. May this be a cause and condition for less suffering and more safety in our world. So, we'll accept your warts and all, and if you want to come, there will be somebody there that will listen and will strategize with you about what to do next if you're in addiction or you're suffering in any way. Thanks for your time. Love you all. Peace.